What the hell is that?
Good evening and welcome to The Joust. My name is Nagy. I'm here as always with the Fonzie to my Richie Cunningham. Liam McNeil joining me for another week of The Joust.
Well, I got to give you a bit of a correction there. Now, I know you mentioned me as the Fonzie to your Richie Cunningham. I could only wish to be your Fonzie, Nagy.
Yes.
I see myself more as a Potsy.
Potsy, you are more
Definitely,
of a Potsy.
I've got the beard of a Ralph Mouth.
Yeah.
But the intuition, the smarts,
Yes.
the cutting wit.
I'm
I'm a Potsy.
I'm more like the dad, Mr. Cunningham.
Mr. Cunningham.
But you got the tattoos. You see, the interesting thing about Fonzie was because he was the tough guy.
He was the tough guy,
But he never did anything tough.
No.
He just
Kicked the jukebox.
Kicked the jukebox pretty hard. But that's the only violence he used.
He had a motorbicycle.
He probably had tattoos, but he'd probably have a heart that has had mother or something. Like one of those real classic sort of tattoos.
Done in some sort of dingy underground venue in Vietnam while he was off. There we go.
That's it.
Doesn't Fonzie like the kind of guy who's out on a day pass into Seoul during the Korean War?
Pants were high though, wasn't they? Like,
Well, it was the theme of the time.
yeah. You know Henry Winkler. Was it Winkler or Wrinkler?
Winkler.
he went on to. He was the executive producer on MacGyver.
Now, I didn't know that. You mentioned that to me earlier. I'm very intrigued because I never really watched MacGyver. I did watch the Saturday Night Live knockoff MacGruber.
MacGruber was much better.
Oh, it was wonderful. Very good film.
Summary on MacGyver. He never used a gun, but he was in situations where a gun would have come in handy a lot. Except later in the series, I watched one full episode where he was just a hockey coach. So I don't know. I don't know where they went with it. I think they just kept making them and thinking, what are we going to do?
Again, TV writers around that period, I imagine there was a lot of cocaine involved.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what TV show producers are up to as far as I can tell. But now, let's launch into the show. Let's start with the news because we don't want to cover
Let's dance around it. Let's dance around it. You know,
let's take it out for dinner, get out on the town, have a little bit of a dance.
Go to a cocktail bar for a bit of conversation over the music. You know, just to walk him back home to the front door for an awkward kiss. Time for the news. Well, at least the news is full of joy and fun things, Liam. But
Except for this first item in the news, I have to apologise to Joust listeners last week. I believe I said that the Knights cannot miss the finals.
Yes, no, we were contacted by the estate of Alan Turing, who was on behalf of mathematics.
Yeah.
And
Mathematics gave us a call.
Yeah, and they said, look, you made some claims.
Yeah.
And look, after they've walked us through, the art of mathematics.
Well, I was going to say, we're very well known in amongst the mathematical community. Huge fans. People who like maths love the Joust.
They love the Joust, strangely. So we'd like to offer an official retraction.
Yes, please and thank you.
To say that, unfortunately, we said last week that the Knights were a mathematical certainty to make the finals. In fact, they're not.
I feel like that's an appropriate representation of the game we witnessed on the weekend.
I think
Thinking we're in, but we're not.
I thought you were just going to say the show that we make. We make claims and then we retract
We
them.
cannot back them up.
No.
There's no feasible way to back up what we say.
No.
It just can't be done.
How could you? You can't prove anything, all right?
What else have we got in the news, Nagy?
Never hold up in court.
Speaking of holding up in court,
Yeah.
Tavita Pengai Jr. has been told that he will not be sacked by the Brisbane Broncos after being, his head was on the chopping block.
Yeah.
He'd visited his bikie friends. He'd gone out, visited the public. He'd done all the things that he wasn't supposed to do. They were going to tear up his contract.
How quickly can your character be besmirched in rugby league? You go from just a regular, player that's on the rise, your origin talks, your contract's worth $600,000 a season, and then all of a sudden, you got bikie mates, you're going to barber shops, you're handing out jerseys, and
Then there was the TPAs thing, his third-party agreements that weren't kosher or some such thing like that.
No.
Something further stupidity.
Was that his fault, or is that sort of more his management?
Well, I'd like to think that he played a heavy part in it.
Yeah.
Just because things are getting worse for the Broncos, and that's the way it'll get worse.
I can't wait to see what happens next week to the Broncos. It just seems to be this burning pile of garbage rolling down a hill that you can't help but watch, and you think, what's it going to hit and destroy next?
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, because at least, look, Knights fans, I know what happened last week, or the week that's just gone. And I know that really hurt, but just to think, not think back to 2016 when this happened a lot, think just what's happening to the Broncos right now, and think we're never going to be at the bottom of the ladder, and even if they don't get the spoon, everyone's real. They're from the soul. That's the real wooden spoon.
Well, that's it. I feel like they'll be the first team to be gifted an honorary wooden spoon.
Honorary spoon.
Yeah, an honorary spoon. Maybe a testimonial spoon, perhaps.
What's a different? It's like balsa spoon. You know, it's like, is it wood? No, it's I suppose it is.
What,
but
particle board?
Particle board.
Isn't that cardboard? They build doors out of cardboard? No.
It's because it's the one you can just sort of break away with your hands. That's the
MDF,
kind of
perhaps.
any sort of cardboard derivative spoon that we can give to the Broncos. Something that's just going to collapse as soon as you put any pressure.
Club seems to be made of cardboard. Everything they do is just steeped in cardboard. And now we look at Anthony Seibold. Look at his shoes. They're cardboard shoes.
Can we look at someone?
They're empty napkin boxes that poor people wear on television.
Can we? Someone. Surely he has a significant other, even a mate, that saw him leave the house, and they went, "Yeah, all right. Yeah, that looks good."
He just looks like a thumb there, doesn't he? His neck, the bottom of his neck's a bit wider than the top of his head.
He looks a little bit like a penguin, I'm going to say.
Robert De Niro's penguin?
Robert De Niro's... Robert De Niro?
Danny DeVito's penguin?
Sorry.
Sorry, Robert.
I thought you said Robert De Niro owns a penguin.
No, he doesn't.
Danny DeVito's penguin. Can we get maybe that photo of Danny DeVito up from the Batman Returns?
As the penguin or
wonderful
twins?
Film. Look, Danny DeVito has in many ways been playing penguin-like creatures for most of his life.
He certainly has.
Someone said something about Danny DeVito. He never plays short guys. Just plays guys. And penguins.
Who happen to be short.
And penguins.
That's it. Being short is not the key to his characters.
No.
Yeah, there we have. There's like Anthony Seibold.
Handsome man. Gorgeous.
What do we got next to the news? Now, this one comes with a bit of a video. This one is, Nagy and I, we like to have a bit of fun. And,
sometimes.
When you go out, sometimes, from time to time, we know when you go out on the town and you're having a couple of beers, things happen to your face. You can't control them. You don't know what's going on.
Sometimes,
We've got, I believe, video of Paul Vaughan.
Mr. Vaughan.
Mr. Vaughan, good Italian man.
And he wasn't playing this round.
No, he wasn't playing this round. He was obviously still stood down after breaching the Project Apollo.
Yeah.
What do they call them? The protocols.
Protocols.
Yeah, the Project Apollo protocols. Now, he was obviously having a bit of fun here in the crowd while he was suspended. He's having a clap, saying g'day to his mates, and quick rub on the nostril there. I don't think we can work out why, but as he laughs more and looks more excited, that's a face that I've seen a number of times, Nagy, but that face I've seen is usually at 3 a.m. on the way out the door at Fanny's. Have you ever seen that face before, Nagy?
Beautiful Fanny's nightclub. What a wonderful establishment that was.
Establishment.
Look, you got to ask sort of questions. Was he just excited? Is that how he looks when he's excited? Is that how he looks maybe when his system is receiving some more excitement than they should?
That's it. Chemical excitement.
Has anyone seen him get into the Uber? Because the Uber driver really would cop the brunt of his excitement. I think he would launch off with a been busy, and then immediately roll into the. So what do you do outside of Uber driving? Surely you have a backstory that I must know everything about. Why don't you come in with me? Come into the house, and I've got some beers. I don't really want this night to ever end. I know it's 4:30 in the morning, and I've got a kebab, but please come live with me now.
It strikes me as a very Paul Vaughan thing to do. He's a lovely fella.
Yeah.
Obviously loves his extracurriculars, as we can see there. But Paul, give us a call, mate. Next time you're up in Newey, we'll take you out for dinner.
We'll take you to Fanny's.
Next one we have on the news, Todd Payton.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to be announced as Cowboys coach. Nagy, you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. He's an interesting man. He sort of came up from nowhere. He wasn't in the coaching zeitgeist.
No, he certainly wasn't.
At the beginning of the season, everyone would have said, "Who's that?" That's that old prop forward that used to play like a little bit like a halfback.
Yeah, after Beetson, arguably the original ball-playing front rower. He had it all. He had the pass. He had the kick.
Well, the corkers.
The corkers, yep, he did.
Those legs,
torpedoes.
Those legs would not be corked. They don't really do anything, do they? The corkers? No,
they don't work at all.
No. But anyway, then he's come out and he's taken over from Stephen Kearney. May he rest in peace. And now he's come out. Some are arguing, should he be coach of the year? Because he's turned this ragtag bunch of New Zealanders that have come over here. They're living in. Are they living in
squalor? They're living in squalor. They're living in the back streets of Terrigal, under bins. They're living under bins. This is what the NRL's done to, the hardest hit team in the whole COVID pro. They've got them living out the back of bloody Crown Plaza, Terrigal.
Yeah, and then he's managed to turn that ragtag bunch of bastards into a top 8 side, almost. Almost. They're threatening.
He's like Hogan.
He's like, yeah.
What was Hogan's name?
Hogan from Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
Okay. I think his name was Hogan.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hogan. No, that's
Hogan's villains.
Yeah.
Now,
all that cast that played the Germans in that show were all Jewish. Sergeant
really?
Schultz, Jewish. Colonel Klink, Jewish.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, Nagy. Very subversive. I like it.
Wait till we get fact checked. I have to make another official retraction next week.
We're going to actually start a new segment, Just Retractions.
Just Retractions.
So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a separate podcast, taking up probably another 45 minutes to an hour.
At least 1 hour, 58 minutes.
About every week, and the apologies that we make.
We'll roll them past the screen like they do on Rock Bottom. Sorry, where are we?
Well, we have now...
We've covered the Jews. We've covered cocaine.
Covered cocaine. Covered Fanny's nightclub. Next item we have you know what we haven't discussed? We haven't discussed knife crime.
Not yet.
We haven't discussed knife crime, and it's about time we should. Now, 3 New South Wales Rugby League players, including a rising NRL star, have been banned from New South Wales Rugby League games for life after a brawl in the car park, which saw this NRL rising star go to his car, take out a kitchen knife, and stab a bunch of people. Now,
have we considered? Did the oranges come pre-cut, or did someone need to cut them up? All I'm saying is, try to cut an orange with that knife.
It's impossible. You can't be done. And it's not like a mandarin where you unpeel it and it's in little pieces. You
can
take
it doesn't segment.
It doesn't segment.
No, not well.
So you need a knife.
Pith.
It's
pithy.
Pith and vinegar.
NRL Rising Star, contact us. We're happy to provide our solicitor service in defending while you had a knife.
Now, here we go. We seem to have a picture of... is that them? I guess that's them. Sure enough. Why not? Bradley Middlebrook and Ratu Nanova, both facing life bans. But isn't it interesting that this new trend amongst younger NRL players to have kitchen knives on hand just in case of a fight? Obviously, we have the case of Tavita Funa at the church dance.
The church dance.
Very, very violence-inducing atmosphere.
Because he watched too much Footloose. That was the thing. Violence, church dances, Footloose.
And then we have violence at a juniors game. Again, a place notable for causing violence.
Kitchen knife's a really broad term. I think,
absolutely.
Is it a chef's knife? Because that thing's quite cumbersome.
I want to see him do it with a bread knife. You can't stab people with a bread knife.
No. Well, that's... what type of knife was it? We need more information.
Yeah, we need information.
Don't besmirch this character. Going to be another Tavita Pangai Jr. You know?
I'll besmirch. I don't care.
I'll besmirch away. Interesting how many of the knives are coming up. Knife crime.
Knife crime on the way up amongst NRL fans. You heard it here first, Justers.
It's going to be our own segment soon. Knife crime in the NRL. Interesting. Oh, we've got a bit of a 15 centimetre kitchen knife. So let's
that's a good 15 centimetres.
That's about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. With a handle? With the blade?
Well, it's definitely a nag. He's not going to be using a knife without the handle. He cut his own fingers off.
That's true. Is it just the blade?
I seem to have developed a hiccup, Nagy. Carry on without me.
I had hiccups the other day. And I was also having a couple of beers, and they wouldn't go away. And I started to think of my life with the hiccups because there's no certainty that they're ever going to stop. You're holding the breath. They're trying to hold the breath. Suddenly it's a one-man show. Liam just gestures now.
There we go. I got to giggle out now. Hiccup. I'm back in the game.
Okay.
Back in the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Liam, there was also something quite late that came onto the... it's rumours floating around.
Oh, I thought we were going on to the game. That's hence the sigh.
No.
I'll save that sigh and I'll come back even sighier.
Yeah. Well, this is also a sighing affair.
Yes.
Because it's one sort of... it's a round knife crime.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And look,
gun crime.
There's a lot of rumours going around about the Newcastle Knights in 2021. And there's a much maligned...
More knife crime.
A much maligned character getting around the NRL.
And God knows we don't like to malign here at the Joust. We do not malign lightly. When we malign, we go hard.
The Danny DeVito of the NRL is, waddling around looking for a new home. And they think
all these penguins have gone out. They've got the rocket packs on. They've flown
away. Wonderful film. Batman Returns.
Very, very good film.
Won't be the last reference we make to that movie. the much maligned Anthony Seabolt is looking for a home. looking for a home, and someone says, you know, he used to work with Mr. Sorry, I missed the button. O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien himself used to work together at the Melbourne Storm, and they have a bit of a connection. And someone said, I think it was our good friend of the show, Barry Toohey, has said, you know, we might see Anthony Seibold, the Newcastle Knights. Now, a lot of people have said this is the wrong thing to do. This is the wrong.
Do this with my hands while we talk about this.
Now, you've got to think Anthony Seibold, despite all the criticism that he's copped, you know, he's a head coach. He's been a head coach at 2 different clubs. To mix success,
successful at one,
that's a 50%.
and then eroded
record.
the other into the ground.
And obviously he's had to get himself into that position. And I think maybe we're looking at these people wrong. I think maybe there's also other applicants that we haven't considered of similar vein. Jeffrey Dahmer for a chance.
Jeffrey Dahmer, he's not busy these days.
Look, you can tell he's a thinker. He's definitely a thinker.
I was on the phone the other day. I believe Idi Amin. He's looking for a new job.
Yeah.
Obviously, since the collapse of his regime.
Of course.
He hasn't had much to do. So.
He ran a whole regime. Surely he can assist coach at the Newcastle Knights. What about...
Pol Pot said no.
No, he said no.
We couldn't get Pol Pot.
It was unfortunate we missed out on Colonel Gaddafi. He was
top of the list.
A bee's dick away from getting before he got dragged out by his constituents into a drain and
then killed. Also by the same constituents.
Yes, sodomized as well, I believe as well.
I was going to say that's how politics could work until you brought up that hard ass.
No, I'm not comparing these gentlemen to Anthony Seibold. I'm saying, look, that we have to keep all options open if we're going to consider.
We can't close the door on anyone.
Anyone at all.
We've got to do our due diligence for the due diligence for the less people who don't know what I'm talking about. Got to do our due diligence. It'd be foolish not to. But could Seibold be a good assistant coach?
No. I don't. Okay. It's just absolutely toxic. Surely, just for the media attention. We like to think that we're not attached to Sydney media at the moment. Sydney media has the crosshairs over Anthony Seibold at the moment.
Let's steer clear of it.
That's just. How about we pick anyone else? How about that? Anyone else? Have we considered that? Anyone. The bloke that drove you here on the bus, Liam.
I was going to say, actually, there's all these reports about Kim Jong-un being brain dead. I don't think that's the case. I think he just suffered a hammy tear off the bone while captain coaching the Pyongyang Pirates. Undefeated 5 years in a row.
Who would have thought it?
The team only came about 5 years ago.
Oh, we can get him on Zoom.
He was the original captain coach. So, foundation player.
Played centre. You would have thought he would have...
Both centres as well. He played left and right.
Yeah, you would have thought halfback, but no.
Never got tackled.
Unconventional.
Never got tackled. There you go. Pyongyang Pirates. Give him a shout. Obviously, dear fan of the show, Kim Jong-un. So
Wonderful.
He actually drew that about us.
Yeah.
And then when he realised the political situation he's on, he turned it to the Chinese on the boat. But we were originally on the boat.
Yeah.
Which doesn't look good given that they are shooting us out on the boat.
No, there's fierce defence and then there's fierce defence. Now, Len, I think we've covered all topics. Knife crime, fierce dictators, serial killers, the
Fonzie.
Jews, fannies, Fonzie. There was another Jewish gentleman. Potsy.
Ralph Malf. We've covered everything. What haven't we covered, Nagy?
The 36-6 loss to the Warriors.
Must we?
We must.
Oh, God, Nagy. It was just...
We had such fond memories of going out to Tamworth, sort of more of a spiritual home.
It's a wonderful town.
Yeah.
It's a great place full of great people.
Don't let that sort of skyline fool you when that they have from the Oval out to the street that makes it look like not a nice place.
It is a lovely place. Look, great playing service too. Look at that. I've obviously consulted on that one, so I was particularly proud of it. There and Mudgee, they're my two, I would suppose, probably my Mona Lisa and my... Vincent van Gogh self-portrait.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was moments away from chopping off my own ears watching this particular game. Look, it was a game that when you look at the score 36-6, you think, look, not only was this our worst performance over 80 minutes, but it was actually, yes, exactly our worst performance over 80 minutes. But we've had such a luxury of this season when we've copped some floggings, but we finished the second half strong. Quite often we finish the second half arguably the better side,
which is a big change from Brown's days, obviously.
No,
in Brown's days we would have
Xanax.
Been terrible for 60 and then gotten worse for 20.
Well, also Nathan Brown now involved with the Warriors. Did he come round to see the boys?
Oh, Nathan Brown revenge game, you're saying, Nagy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Poor, sleepy Aiden Guerra is still feeling the results of the Xanax that he used to give out. Look, there was every game that we feel like we've done well. We proudly finished. We kept Parramatta to nil in the second half. The Storm game, we seemed like we were coming
Finishing
back.
strong again.
Finishing strong.
Yeah.
Game against the Cowboys finished strong. Game against the Bulldogs, clawed back 2 tries and felt like if we had a little bit more time on the clock, we could win this game. This game, we're happy for the game to finish.
Oh, I would have been overjoyed. I didn't actually get to watch the whole game.
Yeah.
I was working, so I only got to kind of steal a glance every couple of minutes.
You're lucky.
Every time I look back up, the Warriors had scored. There was one point I looked away for 5 minutes. They scored twice. I should have just kept my eyes away from the whole game. They might have won by 100. That's what the Knights want me to do. If they want me to not watch a game, then they should know they're going to lose by 100. So keep me happy, Knights, or else.
There was some moments in here, there was some great defence online.
Was there?
No, look, Kalen Ponga early in the game, the first half there with the online defence, that we might even have it here, possibly. No, it's going to be a try. It's hard to say. There were so many tries scored against us. But it was a game that they really ran away. But in the 10 minutes of the final, when we were usually wrestling games back, they took it off us. We didn't have...
Isn't it?
It was a clinic. It was a clinic. It was a clinic.
But it goes back to the Brownie days where the second half is just horrible.
Yeah, no,
I think Brownie, some Brownie Zans, some Zannies were left.
Some things,
in the water bottles.
Important things to remember.
Oh, yes.
One, the Warriors are in form.
They are in form.
They're playing much better than where they are on the ladder.
Yeah.
And they're threatening for an 8th position depending on results. And they might just get there.
They might well do.
Because they're playing well enough to do it. This game felt like a game that we were probably, with that, Stafford Toa makes it to the line there, and then suddenly it's 12-18.
12-18, and wouldn't that have been something?
I think then we feel like we're going to win it. I feel like we did. We didn't have the ball. There was a clinic. We lost by a lot, didn't we? Yeah, I think I meant it.
Would you say, Nagy, that it was comprehensive?
Yes, certainly was. Now, Liam, what do we do from here?
Why are we watching videos of this?
Oh, that's part of the thing we do. Yeah, look, it wasn't good, but this is the only...
What kind of evil god did we wrong to be born Knights fans?
Look, it hurts. There's... It's about how we play from this point onwards.
Yeah.
We can't look back. We must look forwards.
Always forwards.
Twirling. Always twirling. Because that's the only way we can do it. We've got the Sharks next week.
I was going to say twirling like Stafford. Oh, I didn't twirl.
Now, I was hoping, I was thinking, if we had just had a little bit more, bit of muster in the front row, maybe Daniel Safidi coming back.
He'd be great coming back.
And then I thought maybe even Sione Matauti, a bit of experience to one of our longest serving players. I think our current longest serving player.
I was going to say a bit of a hard head, but his series of concussions proved that he in fact has a very soft head.
With soft spots, maybe.
Soft spots,
yeah. But he's out with a knee injury, and I thought, he'd be due back soon.
When's he due back?
Then I got told by Barry Tui on his Twitter that neither of those players will be back. Plus, we might be losing Mitch Barnett to a sternum concern.
Wonderful. What a great season we're having here at the Joust, ladies and gentlemen.
So what we
just got Barney back.
A few games ago. But now it's the thing, he's a 50-50. Does he play? Do you risk a player like Barney against the Sharks?
Oh, absolutely.
Just risk him all the time?
He would play with no legs.
Yes.
A sternum injury does not worry me at all.
When he would play with his only sternum.
You know that what they say about you can't run without legs? Bullshit. Barney can. It's very rare. He's the only one, but he can. So a sternum injury, you've got nothing to worry about, Jousters. He'll be right back next week. And if he's not, we'll just save it for our apologies podcast.
Yeah, we can always retract.
Yeah. What did David Clemmer get sent off for, Nagy?
I got binned. It was
what did he
late.
Get binned for?
I missed it. It was repeated offences. Defending a line, he got very cross with the defender, and then he said...
and rightly so.
And then they said, just go for 10. And it was in the last 3 minutes. And but they did get another try on top of us when we were... We did see a lot of defending. 36%.
That is horrifying.
And it was even less. That was for the whole game. It was even less than that in the second half. They controlled the ball. How do we fix it, Liam? I think
it was 30 errors from the Knights.
There was not 30 errors.
Well, I didn't read the numbers. Again, there's one for the apologies podcast.
For the Alan Turing Foundation to get it.
Surely it was 30.
You're misrepresenting the number 30. Look, there's a lot of questions in the sack about what we're going to do to shake this back up. So we won't touch on what we think we should do to fix it. We'll wait to that.
We'll leave it to jousters and then we can come to that. But next week,
we have the Sharks.
We still got a game next week.
This week, you could say, even.
Yes, it is Monday, in fact. Yes, this week.
Now we're back.
The very same week we're jousting on.
Not only are we back in the home stadium, but we're back in our home time slot. The graveyard, 6 o'clock on a Friday
night. Boy, haven't we missed it too.
Have we? It's a tricky one. It's good if you finish work about 4:30. Yeah. Because then you can watch the game, have a few beers, and then have dinner after or worry about that after.
But for everyone else, no chance.
No chance. But then if you're a 7:30 start, which is really 10 to 8. Let's be frank. Let's be honest.
Let's be Francis.
They when you have it there, you have to have dinner beforehand.
You have to.
So it's a bit of a rush to have dinner. You flood a venue, much like the Commonwealth Hotel, because there's some fantastic food.
Wonderful food.
And then you get the bus, the courtesy bus to the
free
game.
Courtesy bus every night's home game.
Wonderful service. But there's a certain anxiety. You got to get there, got to have dinner, got to get changed, got to have a shower, a bit of aftershave.
Because you don't want to have dinner at the ground.
Single man aftershave down the crotch. I don't know what they do that for.
Burns.
It's a liquid that shouldn't be on a delicate area. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't rub it on your nipples.
You might not, but you don't speak for everyone on this podcast.
I don't. This full of them.
But there's one thing about the Sharks playing at Hunter Stadium or Marathon, depending what we want to call it. They seem to always win.
Yeah.
And win by a lot. So I think if we go back, when was it about?
2016.
16, didn't they beat us by
round
about
10?
60?
62.
62 rather, my apologies. 62 to nil. I remember waiting in line for that game, and I heard the kickoff whistle, checked my phone, and next thing I heard, the Sharks had scored.
Yeah, and that
while I was in the line.
Didn't stop.
It did not stop at all. No. It was a terrible day. And it seems like every time the Sharks play at Marathon, we get towelled up.
Well, let's not think like that, Len. We can't will them into loss.
We won't. I shan't and I won't.
Sure, we've got, there's this game's just all tries. That was 44-0 and they scored another one. There's still 15 minutes to go.
Oh, God.
Gosh, this was painful. Gosh, doesn't this bring back traumatic memories?
Isn't being a Knights fan just... Awful. I think you nailed it when you said traumatic just there, Nagy. That's
it's trauma. It's basic trauma. You know what I mean? And this is set. So hopefully we don't see anything like this.
No, let's hope that we don't. But we can't promise anything there. Obviously, we got Knights legend Brock Lamb there. Is that Knights legend Willie Mason in there as well, perhaps? Knights legend Tarek Sims. There's Knights legend Danny Levi. Knights legend Dane Gagai, of course. All these players went on to have wonderful, lengthy careers at the Knights. They were real world beaters.
Like rats from a sinking ship, weren't they?
Wait, were they the rats or?
I guess we're the ship.
We're the ship.
Yeah,
and the ship was sinking, and they were.
Where they're going? They're going into the water anyway. Stay on the ship. Stay on the ship.
No, I think it's when the rats get off onto the tugboats.
No, they of course the rat tugs.
Yeah.
We often joke that it's that game is like our USS Indianapolis story where the Sharks
carrying the bum.
They didn't even report us missing for a week.
1,000 men went into the water.
Yeah.
300 men came out of the water. Rest was taken by the Sharks. You ever seen a shark's eyes, like Mr. Hooper?
Like a doll's eyes. Yeah. They rolled back,
They rolled back.
Yeah, it's a wonderful film. If you
Let's
haven't
talk
seen
about Jaws instead of the Newcastle Knights.
Have we considered maybe...
Farewell and adieu, you fine Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you young ladies of Spain.
Check out our second channel for us just singing songs from films.
From Jaws.
From Jaws. Only from Jaws.
For we've received orders to sail back to Boston.
You just like that because it's a good Irish song. Now, the Irish only sing about a few things. One, cliffs, drinking.
Girls with black hair.
That have left them. It's always the black hair.
Yeah, I don't know why it is, actually. That's
Boney Lass has left me.
Well, here you go. Here's our production that Nagy and I put together. We're so proud of. Jaws the Musical.
Jaws the Musical.
Arguably our finest work besides the Joust.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joust is number one. But yeah, Jaws the Musical.
Jaws the Musical did
on all good Broadway theatres now.
It did much better than... Yeah. Look,
I'm so proud
of that.
I'm so proud of our work on that. Like you said, a niche subject, but something we have a bit of fun with.
Yeah.
A bit of fun.
It's better than the Joust musical that we wrote that really didn't take off.
It didn't, no. In fact, we were booed off stage in our first rehearsal.
They said...
And that was the family and friends rehearsal.
They called it... the review was Tinkler, more like Stinker.
I'll tell you what, Mrs. McNeil gave it a scathing review in the family newsletter. Scathing review.
It's time for sack. We missed anything?
Oh, well, we didn't really talk about the Knights game, but we don't. The Sharks game, but I don't think we really want to, do we?
Well, we cover a bit of it in the sack.
Yeah, we'll cover a bit of it in the sack. Let's start with the sack.
Let's open the sack, Liam.
Now, first question in the sack comes from Nathan McCloughney. Nathan, give us a shout if I pronounced that correctly. Because I don't think that I have. My apologies. Now, Nathan says, Knights, more like Tin Men. Now, it's not a question, but I like it because I think it gives hope. Because the Tin Man, obviously, as we know, we love musical theatre on this program. The Tin Man, obviously, he didn't have a heart, but the gift from the wizard was to have a heart. So maybe what this team is going to get from our wizard
from memory
is a heart.
It wasn't a beating heart. It was just some like
clock. It was like a little clock.
That's right.
But it was metaphorical. He got the clock heart.
That's all he did though.
But in his brain, he got the clock, the heart of the.
Didn't he give the Scarecrow just like a diploma?
Yeah, he did because he had no brain.
Didn't earn that. Just gave him a diploma.
He didn't go to a 3-year school for that.
Well, he just gave it to him. If anything, he's devalued the diploma.
Look, I've seen the diplomas you can get from TAFE. They're devaluing themselves anyway. But yes, Nathan, we agree. More like the Tin Men. But again, like the Tin Men, there's a positive to take out of it. We just need to oil up those joints and stuff and say, Tin Man. And then we'll give him the heart. And
what was that?
That's what he says in the movie.
Okay.
Next question, Dan Flegg.
Did you ever see Return to Oz?
No, I never want to.
The family-friendly film.
I never want to.
That you think a lot of this podcast is about movies.
Not particularly good ones.
Did you see? Has anyone here seen Return to Oz?
Return to Oz. I've heard it's horrifying.
There's characters in them called Wheelers. And they're not family. Can we look at the Wheelers? We're robbing everyone of their precious time. If anyone's seen Return to Oz, it's made like 71. The first movie was made was like what 39 or something.
39.
Yeah.
So these actually in the original film for the beautiful green snow that falls during the scene where Dorothy's deciding whether or not to go to the mountain. The green snow was actually asbestos.
Now these characters here are called Wheelers, and they're terrifying to children.
Jesus,
they roll around like that.
That's horrifying.
When I look back, they're not actually that terrifying.
That is horrifying. You know what it reminds me of? That scene in Mary Poppins where they have the guy in the cart and he takes a... See, now that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Why are we showing this movie to children?
Well, they're not. That's the thing. It was like meant to be like it was like a soft reboot, if you will. And I think it was...
Looks like a very, very hard reboot to me.
Yeah. But
Jesus. Look at this.
But yeah, Dorothy's in a mental asylum. Yeah, that's right. They do a lot of laughing.
She's 12. Why is she in a mental asylum?
Well, because she came back. She had the whole thing of like you were there, and they're like you're psychotic. You got to go to hospital. There's a wonderful element to the film of this. You're still in this fantasy land, but everything goes wrong.
Yes, of course.
Sorry, where were we talking about?
Know.
We're on the sack. Sorry for taking everyone to that dark place in my mind.
We've
question. Talked about the Penguin, Anthony Seabold, the Jews. Not as a collective, but just
if we want to talk
Jewish
sad
actors.
movies.
Yeah.
What was it? The Never-Ending Story.
I thought you were going to say another movie, but anyway, that's sad because the horse dies.
The horse dies in that horrifying scene in the tar pits.
Yeah.
Was that another movie that scarred me for life?
He said, like, come on, but he's already sinking.
He doesn't come.
Yeah.
He doesn't come. Next question.
Should have stayed still.
Next question.
It's the moving that makes you sink.
Next question. Cameron McCulloch. Cameron's sick of it. We're so hot and cold like his Kmart kettle. And then the rest of the question is, as such, let's get serious. Show up every week like Domino's coupons in the mailbox. Go the Knights. I don't get Domino's coupons anymore. Does anyone else get them? I mean, they all come to me on the app, which is great. It's a fantastic app, Domino's offers.
The app.
But I haven't seen them in the mail for a while. So, Mike, Cameron, which neighbourhood are you living in? Because I want to set up a mailbox there so I can get the I'll buy a house.
Yes.
Just so I've got a mailbox that can get me Domino's vouchers.
Sure. Look, when you've got a voucher... No,
it's not the same.
It's like
I crave that human interaction that I get when I enter Uncle Dominic's family Italian pie restaurant. It's all about the customer-facing service. Kmart kettles. Yeah. They're all right. I've never bought a kettle.
Does anyone buy a
I don't
kettle
drink
from
tea
anywhere
or
else?
coffee, so...
About $7 a kettle.
That's pretty
America
good.
doesn't have kettles. You know that?
No, they don't. They cook it on the
They put it on the stove. They
top.
have electric kettles, I should say.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's not. It's a
What a bizarre country.
British thing. It's a British thing that we've adopted. The plug-in
Yeah.
kettle. Everything in America does on the stove
Yeah.
that you heat up.
In Canada, they have plug-in kettles. But because they're low voltage electricity, it takes half an hour to boil a cup of tea.
Yeah, and the cold climate.
And the cold climate's not helping. Next question. Marcus Christensen, big MC, dear friend of the show. Is Mitchell Pearce nursing 2 shoulder injuries that the Knights are keeping under wraps? His defensive efforts suggest this is the case.
Wasn't great.
Wasn't great.
Defensive effort. 3 tries through Mitchell Pearce. Could have been 4.
That's ugly.
Not good.
That is ugly. Now, marquee man, the big, what's he on? $1 billion a year?
$1 billion.
$1 billion a year. See, now they really should have run that contract by us.
He's also, he owns most of the shares of the Jazz.
He does. I believe he's a silent partner in McCoy Property Group as well. And his mum's Penny. She's Penny from Henny Penny.
Well, there you go.
He runs this town.
There's Shane
Avnell.
I was going to say Anvil. Sorry. Glad you came in there, but I still announced my mistake. I like this, and I feel
save
like
it for the mistake podcast.
I feel like this is what I was going to. I saw this through the week, and I was like, yes.
It's a good looking spine.
Move Kurt Mann back to 6. He's not a 9. He proved that with a couple of errors, but he's just not. He's not. That's not where he excels.
No.
Move him to 6. He does an all right job there. Pierce is 7. Cross slant at 9, and bring in Randall at 14.
I'd swap.
Yeah,
I'd have Randall to start.
Yeah,
he can absorb all the big boys running at him, making tackles. He's a
tackler.
tackling machine. So I'd say Randall at 9, Crossland at 14, Shane. But I think you're close. I think you're close.
And then Nick McGilligan. Sorry,
McGilligan.
Click. Nick Milligan. Or when he's unwell, Nick's Illigan. Man back to 5'8". I support it.
Yeah, all for it.
Do you think we're going to see Lino? We haven't got the team. Usually have the team by now. Do you reckon we're going to have Lino back at 6?
I don't think we are. I don't know. AOB seems happy to pick and stick, so he might choose Lino, but who knows?
He can kick, but barely did any kicking. It was just
Did
like
he?
he
I
kicked,
didn't-
it's not good.
Yeah,
not
it's
good
a
to watch.
shame.
It's a shame.
Adam Clemens. Adam asks, can you talk us through your afternoon at Singleton's finest watering hole on Saturday? Yes. Saturday I was working out at Singo at the pub out there, and I had the...
Launching a beer. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, beer
Launching
launch, and I had the TV on over my left shoulder, and every couple of minutes, obviously, I'd look over my shoulder, and every time I looked back, they'd scored.
Yeah.
The Warriors had scored. It was
Terrible.
I did not have a very good day.
No,
I had
none
a
of us did.
shocker on the punt. The Knights got smashed, and I bet $25 on the goddamn Broncos to win on Friday night.
Why are we talking about how shit they are every week? They were paying $13 though.
Yeah,
just
well,
to
I
win.
got on them at 11.
And in a 2-horse
I
race,
felt
that's pretty good.
stupid not to have tipped them. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yet another in my long list of financial horrifyings. Next question, Mitchell Jordan. How much longer do we have Pierce for? Could put his salary towards 2 semi-decent players, including someone to partner Crossland in the halves. How long do we have Mitchell Pierce for?
One more year after this, but then there was questions earlier in the season of should we extend his contract? Sort of a bit like Mary McGregor. Well, he's off to a flyer. Let's re-sign him again.
Re-sign him now.
Yeah, look at just on this, Liam. It came out through the week that we need a 5/8, and we're on the market for a 5/8. And they're sort of like what we were hoping, but what we'll get.
Yeah, it's very different. What you hope for and what you'll get.
Well, as a Knights fan, we're all about compromises. We want to see a successful team, but we're stuck with an unsuccessful team.
And have been for quite some time.
We want to be happy, but unfortunately, we're sad.
Such is the burden of a Knights fan.
Speaking to a good friend of the show, Carlo Tetchen, is that his name? Tyshan. You're the one that pronounces it correctly every time. Tyshan. Famously from Bronze for Johns, hashtag Bronze for Johns. Build that man a statue. And he said, let's make a play for Luke Brooks. He would fill that 6. He's an organizer, but he would probably get him for cheap because he doesn't play many games of finals. Actually, none games of finals.
In
after
145 games, he holds the longest NRL player streak with no finals appearances.
that will continue this year because they're not making the finals. So we're hoping for Luke Brooks.
We'll get Blake Ashford.
Yeah. Or maybe get Benji Marshall. He's also going to be...
Marshall.
So, 35-year-old Benji Marshall. I tell you what I reckon the Knights should sign. Should have a look at.
Okay.
Sam Williams.
Sam Williams from Canberra. So, no, he's the Toronto Wolfpack. Has been for quite some time.
No, he's still signed with Canberra.
What?
Yeah, according to his Wikipedia. But he's...
I don't know about that one.
They signed George.
They signed him back?
They signed the other... Yeah, well, Toronto
George Williams.
Wolfpack's not even a team anymore.
No, but he was playing for them, I'm fairly certain.
No, he's gone. They'll be looking for a club.
Sam Williams looking for a club.
He's got about 140 games of experience. He was between Blake
there
Austin.
or thereabouts.
Yeah, he was always filling in between Aiden Season and Blake Austin. Always sort of been injured. He was always. Yeah, he's played for a bunch of different clubs. I don't know.
Actually, no. I think it's only Saints and Canberra.
Probably
over here. He's played for.
Yeah, played for a couple over there.
But we want Sam Williams. Who do you reckon we get?
Oh, if it's worse than Sam Williams, Christ. Matt Moylan, probably.
Yeah,
that's what we'll get stuck with. Can we get this list of players we don't want to sign? Matt Moylan, Kieran Foran.
Joey loves Kieran Foran.
Benji Marshall.
Basically, playmakers over 30. Andrew Johns wants them all to come to Newcastle. Kieran Foran, Benji. He'd take any of them in a heartbeat.
You just need someone slightly younger. Someone that even is approaching 30 that doesn't look like they're 30. Like, there's no way that... Like, there's players that look old and play old. Like, Blake Green.
Yeah.
Played like an old...
But again, only 30. As we've discussed on the show before, you're 22 or you're 30.
Mitchell Pearce.
Except Alex Johnson is 25.
You can tell he's getting old. He's not quick.
He's 30.
Well, he was 30, 31, I think.
No,
but then you got someone like Cherry Evans.
30.
But he plays like a 22-year-old. He plays young.
Occasionally shit.
Why are there some players that play young and then... But I don't know.
Who knows?
Who understands this game? Anyone?
Not me.
One more question. Do we have any more questions?
Yes. Michael King asked, what's the best schnitty in Newcastle apart from the Commonwealth Hotel? Obviously, Commonwealth Hotel number 1, right up the top there. Where's your second? I like the schnitties at Harry's, where you get it in a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a portable schnitzel. It's very hard to find a good portable schnitzel.
I like Harry's.
It's good, yeah.
I feel like the thought of Harry's is better than Harry's, though. Is anyone else with me there? It's like there's something. It's like you go there and then you think this is going to be delicious, and then it's a bit, I don't know, uneventful.
Oh. Well, I used to go to...
It's like fishing. The thought of fishing is better than fishing.
I used to go to Dinaway when it was the original Harry in charge. He was the father of a school friend of mine. Obviously,
I was say the father of many children.
Well, he had a couple, but he had Dinaway in the Junction. They used to do $10 schnitzel, chips and gravy for lunch. Superb. First generation Greek immigrant, so knows how to cook, knows how to run a kitchen.
Of course, as they all learn growing up in those Greek schools.
Yeah, so that was a good schnitty. That was a real good schnitty.
You spend 6 weeks on the boat and you learn how to cook. That's how they got here. That's like the first generation immigrants got here on the boat.
Yeah, like the 10-pound poems.
Yes, exactly. They all came on boats.
They came on boats.
First fleet, that was boats.
That was boats.
They didn't walk here. Because boats were slightly faster.
Did they walk while they're on the boats?
Well, I guess they walk around.
You get bored.
Full of scurvy.
Yes.
And other diseases, I hear.
Well, venereal disease, I imagine, would be one of the things. I don't know.
I'm sure it would have been. Thirsty sailors.
Thirsty bitches.
Christ almighty. If you like us, please like us on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Twitter. See what a loss does to us. It crushes us.
It crushes the
emotionally.
Soul. I feel crushed like a clove of garlic between the palm of the heel and the chopping board.
Yeah. Palm of the heel. Yeah,
the heel of the palm. The heel of the palm.
The palm of the heel.
Hey, my heel's got a palm.
The palm of the ham.
Palm of the ham.
Yeah. Palm of the ham. Spotify, Twitter, all those social pipes. Can we bet the Shark Slam? Score prediction.
Yeah, why not?
We never do a score prediction.
I don't know, 100 to 70.
Well, why not?
What's the ratio of unicorns to nickels?
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
How big's a bowl of weetbix? Nobody knows.
14, my sister ate. That was her record. I think mine was 12.
I had a competition with Seth Bowes once about...
Dear friend of the show.
Dear friend of the show. About who could eat the most Weet-Bix. Flogged him. Absolutely flogged him, but I felt ill. Because it's like cement for your stomach. It just doesn't digest.
But that's the feeling of success. That's cement in the stomach.
I think it was 17 to 12 or something like that. I didn't need to eat that additional 5. I should have gone one at a time. What's your milk ratio?
Milk ratio, I go big. I like a lot of milk because I like the whole wheat bix to be soggy.
Because you you want to eat more like oatmeal by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can really suck it back, chunky like.
Any accoutrements to that?
Sugar, brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Boys, have you got any regular sugar? Honey.
Yeah.
I used to get brown sugar. You get more worth out of the honey. You get a drizzle of honey goes like.
Because I used to use a lot of sugar.
Yeah, that's the
so
issue.
much sugar.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
Josh.
No, thank you.
No, thank you to weetbix. An Australian Josh is also signing off tonight.
I think that's a good way to end the show.
Call me Josh, Liam, myself, and a good Australian boy Pom with his Australian honey. We're all wishing you a good night. You have anything else to say?
No. I just think Josh has been hanging out with Idi Amin a bit too much.
Future assistant coach to the Knights.
They don't have weetbix in the Democratic Republic of Uganda.
Good night!